Welcome to the Metal Voice, a special edition. We have Hank Shermann, the one, the only. The one, the only, from Denner Shermann, also from Mercyful Fate. So the album's called Masters of Evil on Metal Blade Records. It'll be released June 24th. You can pre-order the album now. Hank, tell me, what is the difference between the EP that you did, I guess, last year and this album?
I think that, we have developed a more, a style, with the EP, it was really fast in the making. We spent about 4 months doing it. This was the first time having Sean pick on vocals. So I had to kind of learn his, areas of singing and all that. So for the album, we had 8 songs here we had created with different vibe. We could go, more deeper in layer, build up more layers. They are a little more epic, some of the songs, and there's not one song that are the same. I mean, so they're all different, and that's the same recipe we used back with Mercyful Fate. And that worked out pretty cool. So, and this is my songwriting style, so it kind of have that known kind of signature sound from me and Michael. So I think that the songwriting has certainly improved, and like I said, I think it feels a little more deeper, deeper layer into it.
What's the set list going to look like on tour? I mean, are you going to play the EP, the new album, and I'm assuming some Mercyful Fate?
Yeah, we certainly will play all 4 songs from the EP, and then we likely will gonna choose 5 songs from the new album, and then likely to put 3 or 4 Mercyful Fate songs in, since, me and Michael were an essential part of Mercyful Fate back then, and we, composed the songs and all that. So, we feel obligated to at least keep the Mercyful Fate music alive to our loyal fans, and that's really like fun for me and Michael to play those songs that were created 35 years ago, and the audience seems to really like that and appreciate it. So everyone is having a nice time, enjoying the old times in a way.
Will there ever be a Mercyful Fate reunion tour album? I know King Diamond has not said no to this. I've spoken to King. He's never shut the door on it. Is there any possibility of some sort of future Mercyful Fate reunion of some sort?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, it like you said, no doors has been closed. It just happens that me and Michael are really busy with the campaign of the new album. King is like touring Europe right now. He's going into recording mode, doing the next King Diamond album, the first in, I think, 10 years. Maybe some opening time frames could open up for, that we go in talks and see, how everyone feels on the subject. And I think with so many dedicated loyal fans out there, screaming at us every day, we want a Mercyful Fate reunion. and it has been, since 1999, so it's like 17 years ago that we put out a record, an album. So, I don't see why not, but at this point, Michael's and my own focus is, of course, on Denner Shermann album and the band. And King is, of course, focusing on, making his first album in 10 years. So we are both pretty busy, but, on the other hand, both bands are playing Mercyful Fate material. So we are getting a little closer to that dreams, of seeing Mercyful Fate back together again, for sure.
Do you talk to King on a weekly, monthly basis, or just once in a while?
He's in Copenhagen these days, and I spoke to him a few weeks ago. He's strong and ready to take on and release another King Diamond album, and who knows, maybe that leads up to another Mercyful Fate album. That could be a fascinating thought, and it could be pretty cool for everyone, I think.
I got to hand it to. I've heard the album, by the way, your new album, and I thought it was very impressive. It sort of like touches on the classic Fate as well as brings it up to today, right? To today's current metal scene. Sean Peck, I think he does a brilliant job on this album.
Yeah.
Why did you choose him? I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of vocalists. What was the main reason you chose Sean Peck as your vocalist?
Yeah, even before we were, getting too deep into like writing names down on a piece of paper, we got approached by Sean Peck saying, "Hey, I'm Sean. I'm singing in this band Cage. If you ever would need a singer, I would certainly be interested." So that kind of led us on to, the work that he did with Cage. And, we say, hey, this guy has some, a lot of balls. And the very most important thing for any singer in the world is to have a signature sound and tone. So, Bruce Dickinson, Jeff Tate, King Diamond, Rob Halford, all these they are instantly, or Ozzy Osbourne, instantly recognizable. And Sean had that kind of personal signature tone. But Sean, he spans like a really big spectrum and can do anything from evil horror vocals to, melodic stuff or high screams or, so we really thought that he would be a perfect fit for the band.
A lot of folks have asked me to ask you, Melissa, Don't Break the Oath. I know these were recorded in days, like 7 days, 10 days. What was your most memorable positive experience and negative experience about recording those two albums? I asked King Diamond the same question, by the way.
I really don't have any bad, memories from Melissa recording there, except for one experience that happened. I have it on a diary somewhere here, what specific date it was, but there was a thief inside the studio stealing King's jacket. Then we entered the studio a year later for Don't Break the Oath. So I can't really say anything bad about it. The only thing we had where when we had to decide whether which songs should be on side A and side B, it was very democratic. So everyone wrote down on a piece of paper, and then we would look at them and combine and see what song to start side A and what song to start on side B. And I know King, he really wanted to have the Oath starting on side A, and the rest of the band chose the Dangerous Meeting. So King was a little upset about that, but I mean, since we are democratic rule band, I mean, he had to, to give in.
I started following you and King and Mercyful Fate from the beginning in Canada.
Okay.
And
cool.
I remember you guys played the Spectrum in Montreal. I remember I was really 15, 16 years old. I was a little scared to go to your concert because I thought there was a lot of Satanism. But Don't Break the Oath comes out. I remember King on TV. I remember people scared. I remember people outraged at his Satanism. Did you ever pull him aside? And I know somebody did. And go, hey, King, it's all good, the Satan stuff, but you're pushing it too far.
Myself, as the main composer of the songs, Michael as a guitar player, other guitar player, I mean, all the rest of the guys were really focusing on performing the songs and, make the musical foundation as good as possible. King was a guy who was a front figure. He was like with the painted face and all these, props on stage. So he was like more in charge of all that satanic stuff, via the lyrics and stuff. We were young guys, 25 years old. We didn't think too deep into it, entertainment. But apparently back in the days, 84, 83, it was like, haven't been seen that graphic before. And, when we started to burn crosses with, real fire on stage, that would never happen today. You could not do that today. But back in the day, the first time the audience saw that, they were mesmerized, say, oh my goodness. That's part of going in to see a horror movie. You expect to be scared, so maybe, going to a concert and have that, fear, and at the same time hear some cool rocking metal, that's a cool combination, maybe.
So Don't Break the Oath was released, and it was, the following was growing, but then you decided, you know what, guys, I want to go in a more commercial direction. Can you go through the thought process of how the band split at this point?
King has crafted a plan like that. He wanted to go off in his own direction and have his own band in a way, meaning that he could more have his own ideas like recorded, and his vision of maybe doing big concept albums and stuff. So everything was planned, and apparently he didn't see that with me on board. So the way to kind of get around that is like to to leave Mercyful Fate and basically split up the band, and then invite Michael and Timmy back in to his new band, because then he could start from scratch and then build it up around his musical ideas and then his vision. I think he didn't feel that he could reach the goal with me on board for some reason. Maybe some say it was something with the clothing or stuff like that. That he has been saying that, or also someone had said that I had presented some more pop metal songs, which is certainly not true. So I think it was a really brave move, because it could have failed drastically. We have a really cool band, Mercyful Fate, 3 successful albums done, and then suddenly he decides to break.
Happy you guys still have this open connection and communication, and hopefully something will happen in the future in regards to Mercyful Fate. But it brings us to today, right? Denner Shermann, excellent album. And all our experiences lead to today, to the present, right? Well, I'm very excited. Masters of Evil is a new album out on Metal Blade on June 24th worldwide. My guest, Hank Shermann, the legend, I tell you, the legendary guitarist for Mercyful Fate and Denner Shermann. Thank you.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. Okay, Jimmy.
Thanks, Hank, and we'll catch you next time on The Metal Voice.